Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be giving you my Aquarius November 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, as far as November goes, Mars will be in Libra from the 1st until the 19th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So situations with in-laws, grandchildren, it could even be philosophers, people in religion, maybe a little bit more contentious and acrimonious than usual. Could be a lot of passive aggressive energy. There may be battles over things that are fair, equitable, things that are about justice, whether something's really justified or not, or in some cases it could even be legal disputes. And now also, too, if you're unattached at this time, Aquarius, you may connect with a Libra Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra characteristics. It could be a foreigner. It could be somebody you meet at a college, university, or maybe even someone that you meet through traveling abroad. It could be at a religious congregation, somebody in a 9th house profession like publishing. Now, this could be about injecting a lot of energy into Libra. It could be Libra higher learning. It could be doing something like learning to be a graphic art designer, learning drawing, painting, sculpting, the law, anything connected with something legal, such as learning to become a bailiff, judge, or attorney, paralegal, a court reporter. And this could be a time too where when you look at this as well, it could also be about putting some energy into taking action. It could be over legal matters in general, because you're talking about Libra is associated with legalities, and then you have, of course, the 9th house, which is the law. Anyway, next thing up is, as far as November goes, Mars will be in Scorpio from the 19th until the 30th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, the situation with the dominant parent, which is often the father, authority figures, people prominent in your career may be more contentious and acrimonious, more so than usual. There could be battles that are connected with jealousy, and maybe it could even be a lot of vengeful anger and vindictive type anger connected, getting revenge on somebody, and just what I call vengeful, vindictive anger. And there's a lot of emotional intensity, being that it's in Scorpio. Now, could also be at this time as well, even shared resources, because Scorpio can be connected with that. Now, at this time, if you're unattached at this time, Aquarius, you may connect with a Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Scorpio traits. And it could be somebody that might be prominent in your career, your public image, reputation, you improving your stature in life, attaining success, a position of authority. And also, too, this could be a time too where you could be about putting a lot of energy and vitality into some Scorpio career-related endeavors, such as something with blacksmithing, the occult, astrology, supernatural, embalming, forensics, investigation, detective work, just getting to the bottom of it. Could just be about putting a lot of energy into getting into the bottom of the things over a mysterious career-related matter, or something that might have tarnished or impacted your public image and reputation in some cases. So and also a lot of relentless energy, perhaps with a lot of emotional intensity, trying to reach the top of the ladder, so to speak, and attain a position, attain a greater stature in life. So anyway, next thing up, Jupiter will still be in Sagittarius, so the 11th house is what we emphasized and highlight. Now, as I've stated in previous videos, Jupiter can be rather paradoxical, could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this can enlarge and expand rather foolhardy, over-optimistic, over-exuberant, over-enthusiastic, self-righteous behavior with friends, with acquaintances, people you may know in a group, club, or organization. But also, it could be very fortuitous for your future at this time, Jupiter being in lucky Sagittarius. And it could be very auspicious for Sagittarius type goals and aspirations. At this time, it could be something connected with sports, athletics, could be something with horses, stables, law, philosophy, religion, travel, translation, working with foreigners, anything that could be Sagittarius related. It could also, at this time too, this could be about really very enlarge a lot of optimism for your future at this time. It could be very good in terms of attaining what you're seeking maybe in your future, and also it could really at this time as well, this could be very good for really maybe publishing something Sagittarius related, like with friends or an acquaintance, or even some cases this could expand and enlarge jocular, jovial energy with friends, with acquaintances, groups, people you know in groups, clubs, organizations. It could also be very good for making money through a business, if applicable. And Sagittarius, of course, doesn't do anything in small doses. So anyway, well, next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the 12th house will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, this could be a time for you, Aquarius, where you might be more introspective, introverted than usual. I have this placement natally, and I could be rather reclusive and introverted. In some cases, sadly, this could be about the passing of a father. In some cases, I have Saturn, again, Saturn in the 12th house natally, and I lost my father at 3 years old. In some cases, this could also about really where the unknown can put one in a state of fear or trepidation at this time. It could also be in a positive note, working laboriously in solitude or seclusion. It could just be doing general mundane work. You could be doing night work at stocking. I've done that before, and again, I have this placement natally. It could also be a time too where just be careful as far as there can be many consequences for a betrayal at this time, and also too, it could be a time to looking at this as well, where sometimes older people can be hidden adversaries at this time as well, and as well too, you might be bearing your sorrows more secretively, more so than usual. Aquarius, those are some ways that this could manifest and pan out at this time. It could be some cases where you're doing some covert, government works. We're talking about, Saturn and Capricorn being in the 12th house of what's hidden, and again, this could be about fearing what's not known more so than usual. Could also be time too when you're talking about this placement where it's really again could be very strongly about solitude and seclusion, and it could be about being very introspective and really just that is how a lot of this energy may manifest at this time for you, Aquarius. Now, next thing up, Uranus will still be in Taurus, so at this time. For Aquarius, well, the 4th house as well will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, in some cases, this could be about a lot of domestic instability in your home life, maybe rather erratic and sporadic. Some cases, you might get something shocking or unpredictable. You might find out about your roots, your ancestry, or traditions even. You might be dealing with more unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior from the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, home, and family members in general, and people you're simply close to home with at this time. And it could also be about expressing, it could be about Uranus-like traditions, such as going to do something with computers, electronics, going to a computer expo, something with astronomy or astrology, esoteric subjects, innovation, going to places that have that showcase new concepts, new inventions, innovations, anything that could be Uranus related. It could also be about how sometimes I believe this could be about Taurus friendships. It could be Taurus Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus characteristics that might figure more prominently in that latter part of your life if you're already there or getting you at least ready for it. And also too, it could be about at a time too where also you might be expressing really maybe some Uranus type qualities at the core. I mean, you already expressed them anyway, Aquarius, but maybe we might express them more so. Maybe you have even more innovative qualities at the core than you even, or idiosyncratic qualities or what have you at the core more so than usual. So anyway, well, and also too, I wanted to add to that is that there could be a little greater propensity for some kind of electric shock at this time in the home. So just be careful if you're doing some kind of wiring, Aquarius, and make sure you're wearing the right gloves and taking your precautions or what have you. At this time, there's also a little greater propensity for some disaster to happen in connection with the home at this time, more so than usual, especially if it's making, a lot of it's predicating dependent on aspects it makes to points in your chart. I mean, if it's like, say, making an adverse aspect to Pluto, it could even increase that propensity for something very disastrous and destructive to take place in matters with your home. So anyway, well, next thing up, Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. So, well, that one thing I look at is that your financial outlook might be a little bit more nebulous and unclear, more so than usual. It could be where you're, I can maybe be flipping a little bit, dissolving assets maybe at this time, but I'm being flippant on that. But anyway, it could also be about making money doing something Neptune related, such as dancing, poetry, photography, chemistry, pharmaceutical work, chemistry, anesthesiology, something with boating or the sea, the metaphysical, which includes astrology or spirituality. And also too, it might be a time where you might be feeling like your self-esteem and self-worth might be dissipating or dissolving to some degree. And also too, just be careful that you're not really getting involved with unrealistic values, but it could simply be where you put a lot of value in like self-sacrifice, compassion, imagination. It could be very positive Neptunian type things at this time that you're putting more value in, more so than usual, self-sacrificing energy. And it could be a time too where you're showing more self-sacrificing energy, more so than usual, regarding your possessions, your resources, your as far as your money goes. Anyway, last but not least, Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway. In some cases, this could be the actual literal death of an aunt or an uncle, somebody that might be prominent in your private life. It could also be a time, too, where at this time, you're talking about Pluto energy and the 12th house of restrictions. You might feel some difficulties dealing with crisis situations, or they might be tied into secret sorrows, or maybe even trying to make a major change or transformation might be a little bit restricted at this time. But at the same time, a death might be tied into secret sorrows at this time, and also being overly powered, hungry, or controlling might be tied into oneself undoing at this time. But also remember, the 12th house is about hidden adversaries. So it could be a time where you might be there might be a hidden adversary that could be Plutonian, like somebody that could be maybe in a Pluto profession, such as nuclear physics, or somebody in the occult, or just somebody that's very powerful in general. And also at the same time, Pluto, of course, is about transformation. So you might be more inclined to really want to empower, transform others' lives that are less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the homeless, the oppressed, and the hungry at this time. And Pluto can be tied in with sex like Mars, so you might find that your libido might be a little bit more diminished, more so than usual at this time. And sometimes this could indicate even a loss of power, or sometimes even Plutonian type mental illness, such as something like with something obsessive or compulsive issue. But again, a lot of this could be predicated and dependent on aspects. This makes the points in your chart. An adverse aspect to your natal Mercury or a square to your third house cusp can increase that propensity for something like this taking place. But what I'm stating is very isolated. Anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.